Many years before Trinidad and Tobago gained independence in 1962, the British were putting measures in place to ensure when it did happen, the best person would be running the country. It all started in 1925 with the introduction of locals to the legislature, despite their numbers being few. But as Rishi Harinanan tells us, by the 1950s, local politics was ready to chart its own course.
1925 saw the beginning of politics in Trinidad, with the first elections to the Legislative Council taking place. 7 of the 13 members were elected, while the others were nominated by the governor, the man appointed by the Queen to oversee what was taking place in the country. This period was termed limited suffrage, as those selected was done so based on income, property and residence qualifications, and was limited to men over the age of 21 and women over the age of 30.
This was in keeping with the colonial policy of gradual introduction into self-government and devolution of political power, a principle which they applied even in their own systems and certainly in their dependent territories.
Labour riots ensued in 1937 and was led by Tubal Uriah Buzz Butler. He formed the modern trade union movement. After Butler was released from jail for his actions, in 1945 he reorganized his political party, the British Empire Citizens and Workers' Home Rule Party, a party identifiable with the African community. Apart from that, nothing really happened as it related to the development of politics, at least until the 1950s.
In 1950, what was introduced was what might be called quasi-ministerial government. That is to say, elected and selected members were given responsibility for particular departments.
It was during this period locals recognized the power to be had, self-governance. The main political battle then was between the people of Indian and African descent, through Bade Sagan Maraj leading the sugar workers and Uriah Butler leading the oil fields workers. The United Front Party was formed,
which was an attempt to bring different organizations so far into what one might call a united approach to politics.
But their time in politics was short-lived. 5 years later, Dr. Eric Williams arrived on the political scene, and in 1956 he created the People's National Movement. The PNM was opposed by Dr. Rudranath Kapildeo, who led the Democratic Labour Party.
And in fact, in 1956, the Colonial Office had to give Williams 2 extra nominations to allow him to have a safe and workable majority.
After detailed discussions with the Legislative Council, the Colonial Office decided to grant cabinet government to Trinidad and Tobago. Thus, the first cabinet was formed with Dr. Williams as Premier. As a result of this, it was said the British supported Dr. Williams because of his superior intellect. It was around this time that several Caribbean countries sought to gain strength in their number, seeking the creation of an independent West Indies Federation. But this fell through when a disagreement over the structure of the federation led to Jamaica's withdrawal and the now famous Dr. Eric Williams phrase, "1 from 10 leaves naught." This is said to have led to TNT's stronger push for independence. We all know how that turned out. In 1961, December 4th, the country's first general election took place with Dr. Williams and the PNM emerging victorious. Less than 1 year later, on August 31st, Trinidad and Tobago gained its independence. Rishi Harinanan, C News.